Hello, good morning and welcome to a brand new edition of the newspaper show right here on ET Now. I am Cheryl D'Souza and let's take a look at the top headlines that's there on the Economic Times right here for you. And let's talk about what are the news making headlines this morning. First up is Jio Platforms. They may get up to $1 billion from KKR. Apart from that, you have domestic airlines to resume operations from Monday onwards. Next up, you have Cabinet that's approved key part of the COVID relief package. Moving on, you have Vedanta that will raise $2.5 billion to fund India delisting. There's a nod that is coming in for commercial coal mining. Auctions are likely to begin soon. You have United States turnaround drivers, United States turnaround drives Dr. Reddy's stellar Q4 show. Ola is the one that has now fired 1,400 employees. Their revenue has plunged 95% in 2 months. Premji has a winner in Moderna, that is Azim Premji. We also broke that story right here on ET Now yesterday. And Cyclone Amphan has battered Bengal as well as Odisha. And India has reduced pandemic pace. That's the word coming in from the government. So those are the top 10 headlines that's there on the Economic Times this morning for you. But let's move on and quickly get you the top 5 corporate headlines that you have on the Economic Times. And it looks like a good news coming in from the HCL Tech front. There is no pay cut at HCL Tech. Also, the company will go ahead and give bonuses as well. Some sigh of relief coming in for HCL Tech employees.Moving on to TCS, CEO pay falls by about 16.5% in FY20. Talking about the auto space, Mahindra & Mahindra to sell steel JV stake to their partners. A new plan may help Vodafone Idea trim their costs. Apart from that, you have Dabur chairman that's bought stake in a wellness startup. So those are the top 5 corporate headlines coming in from the Economic Times for you. But let me shift focus to the ET Markets page and get you the headlines from there. RIL writes entitlement price has surged by about 40%. You have mutual funds that are allowed to list units of their shut schemes. Apart from that, you have Kotak Mahindra Bank will assist Franklin Templeton. You have SEBI that has asked companies to disclose the COVID impact on their businesses. And Nasdaq has surged to a 3-month high. And that was a roundup of all the top headlines in corporate markets and also the top headlines that's there on the Economic Times for you. But let me move on quickly to the top story on the Economic Times this morning. And here you go. It's about Jio Platforms. Jio Platforms may get up to $1 billion from KKR. We already know there is a slew of players that is already invested in Jio Platforms, and RIL has already raised over 67,000 crore in just a matter of 4 weeks. And another player looks like it. Let me go on and read more right off the newspaper for you on the about the story. Jio Platforms may get up to $1 billion from KKR. The talks are on with Saudi Sovereign Fund, that is PIF, and UAE's Mubadala. So those are the ones that Reliance Jio is also in talks with. Talk more on this story. My colleague Arijit Barman has filed the story from the Economic Times, and it also goes on to say that KKR and company is in active discussions to invest in Reliance Industries Jio Platforms, seeking to join peers and technology-focused investors like Silver Lake, Vista Partners, General Atlantic, and back the telecom technology commerce triple play that Mukesh Ambani is aiming for. And this is all as per sources to join the leagues of investments by Silver Lake. You have Vista Partners, you have General Atlantic, you have Facebook. Now you have KKR also that is seeking to invest up to $1 billion in Jio platforms. Remember, like I just mentioned, the Reliance Industries has already raised 67,000 crore in a matter of 4 weeks from these investors as well. So on April 22nd, you have Facebook that bought about 9.9% stake in Jio platforms. On May 5th, you have Silver Lake that bought about 1.15% stake in Jio platforms. On May 8th, you have Vista Equity Partners. And then on May 18th, you have General Atlantic that picked up 1.34% stake. So the total fund raised, to give the actual amount, was 67,194.75 crore rupees. So for now, you have KKR also that may look to invest about $1 billion in Jio platform. So that is indeed the top headline on the Economic Times page for you right here. But what is the other important page on this Economic Times? And that is this story right over here. You can see that is the domestic airlines to resume operations from Monday onwards. Why? It is right here, front page of Economic Times. You also have it on the Times of India, and it is the top story on Times of India as well. A sigh of relief coming for many citizens out here that the domestic flights will resume operations from Monday onwards. But what is it all about? What are the SOPs and what is the Aviation Ministry actually planning? I have my colleague Utkarsh Chaturvedi who's standing by to give us more details on this. Utkarsh, take it away.
Exactly, as Hardeep Puri said yesterday, now the ball is in the court of the states, and there has been clarifications that have been asked by the state governments, by the Aviation Ministry to the state governments. Now, what do they include? Now, the first is whether the state governments want to allow flights from the red zones, and if yes, in what capacity do they want these flights to come in. Secondly, once these flights come in, what will be the security checkup for them, what will be the quarantine facility be built for them, and what will be the protocols and measures which will be followed from the flights which are coming from the red zones. Then you speak about in the red zones, how will people really reach the airports, given the fact that the public transport is not working and the movement of people is not so freely allowed. Then speaking about the congestion and the capacity of the airports to hold the number of passengers, that is something which is very important. But what capacity are the airports and the state government comfortable of holding passengers, and that accordingly then will the Aviation Ministry will distribute the routes between all the airlines. These are the questions which at this point of time states government have. The state governments on one hand are ready to take the flights from the red zones, but they do not want a lot of flights to come in, given the fact that they'll have to set up quarantine facility and regular thermal checkups for the incoming passengers.
All right, Utkarsh, thank you for giving us details on that particular story, that the domestic airlines will resume their operations from Monday onwards, the aviation sector to restart in a calibrated manner, and flight bookings could begin today. That is what Economic Times has reported. But let me move on to another top corporate story that's there on the front page of the Economic Times, and here you go, and that is on Vedanta Resources. So Vedanta Resources is planning to raise $2.5 billion to fund their India delisting. Remember, on May 18th, you have Vedanta board that approved the delisting of the locally listed holding company after considering a due diligence report by SBI Capital. So on back of that news, you know that the Vedanta is looking to delist its India arm. But to talk more on this particular fundraising, where that the story is talking about $2.5 billion that is Vedanta Resources is planning to raise. Let's get Mubina on the story. Mubina, take us through what this exactly story is on the Economic Times.
Well, after the board approved the delisting of Vedanta Limited, the but obvious step that will come next is arranging for the plethora of funds that will be required to go through with this delisting. Because do remember that we are looking at roughly about 16,000 crore rupees or $2 billion at least, because this amount is based on the delisting indicative price of 87.5 rupees. After this step, of course, there's going to be getting approval from from the shareholders. It'll have to be via special resolution, via postal ballot, where at least 2x the shareholders will have to okay the delisting. Then you're going to have a reverse book building process, which will essentially ensure that the promoters are able to get at least 90% of the shareholding, and then the delisting will happen. Now, given the fact that this indicative offer price is so low compared to the intrinsic price, compared to the 52-week high, during the reverse book building, it's definitely going to be more than that. And hence, $2.5 billion is what essentially, as per an Economic Times report, Vedanta Resources is looking to essentially borrow. Now, they're also saying that this could be short-term loans, that's maturities between 3 to 12 months. Now, what will it do to Vedanta Resources? Firstly, it already has a $7 billion debt, out of which roughly about $1 billion is due in September 2021. But you've got to remember that Vedanta Resources is also getting access to, firstly, a complete dividend, no dividend leakages to minority shareholders, which, by the way, is also one of the covenants in the loan as per the ET report, that there should be, complete dividend upstreaming. A Kotak report mentions that it could be as much as $500 million. Plus, you're getting another $1 billion of cash access in Vedanta Limited's books, plus in Kane India and Hinzing's books. So I suppose that's the reason why he may be looking at short-term loans of 3 to 12 months. But like I said, it's $2.5 billion because in all probability, the final exit price is going to be much higher than that 87.5 rupees indicative price.
Thank you, Mubina, for taking us through that particular story. But while Mubina was talking about Vedanta, I flipped my pages to page 4, of Economic Times, Peril of Live Television. Here you go. M&M looks to exit JV with Japan Sanyo Special and Mitsui. So this is another story that's there on Economic Times, the top corporate story coming in, page 4 of the Economic Times. Let me read the story out for you. What it actually means that Mahindra & Mahindra is looking to exit their JV with Japan Sanyo Special and Mitsui. It's in talks to sell 29% stake of that it holds in the steel JV, either in a one shot itself or in tranches, and the company is aiming to raise up to 300 crore rupees. And why is Mahindra & Mahindra doing this particular move? Remember that they have a JV with Sanyo Special as well as Mitsui, and in this JV, Mahindra & Mahindra holds 51% stake. So right now, the company is in talks to sell 29% stake, either at one shot or in multiple tranches. And this is basically because the company is looking to exit from its non-core businesses. M&M will sell its stake in Mahindra Sanyo Special Steel, as the company is called. Like I said, in multiple tranches or in one shot. They're aiming to raise about 250 to 300 crore rupees. And this is as per sources to Economic Times. This particular story is fired by my colleague Indulal PM and Liji Philip from the Economic Times. Mahindra & Mahindra said that it would not like to comment on speculations. Meanwhile, Sanyo and Mitsui did not respond to emails sent to them on Tuesday. So for now, this is the story that's there on the Economic Times, saying that Mahindra & Mahindra is looking to sell stake in the steel JV that it holds, 51% stake. It's aiming to raise about 250 to 300 crore rupees via the sale of stake in this particular steel JV, because they want to exit from their non-core businesses, and that is a source-based information coming on the Economic Times. But let me move out from Mahindra & Mahindra to another company, and that is HCL Tech. That particular story is there on your Economic Times. It is there on page 6, and that is talking about no pay cuts for the staff at HCL Tech, and most likely it may also look to give bonuses to its employees. Sort of a good news coming in for employees of HCL Tech, a ray of hope coming in for a job market which is under so much stress, where it's seeing multiple layoffs every single day. And to talk more on this particular story, I'm joined by my colleague Chandra. Chandra, take us through this story. HCL Tech may not give pay cuts, and it looks like a very good news coming in at such troubled times.
Good morning, Cheryl. Yes, at a time when we see so much of news about layoffs and salary cuts and furloughs, this is a positive story coming in from software major HCL Tech. So they have said that they will not cut salaries of their 1.5 lakh employees. They will also honor the promised bonuses for the previous year. And they had said earlier that they would honor the nearly 15,000 job offers that they had already made to freshers. So HCL Tech's Chief Human Resources Officer, Apparao Bibi, has said that, they haven't seen any cancellation of projects, but onboarding of new projects has been delayed a bit. However, they are seeing a lot of green shoots and they have 5,000 open requirements. So they are even recruiting in some areas, though there are verticals such as transportation and manufacturing that are seeing some stress, and that they will take a call on their annual appraisal process in July. Remember, in the last week, we have been reporting about layoffs happening at various unicorns in the country, be it Zomato, Swiggy, or Ola yesterday. But it's good to see an established IT services firm say that it will honor all offers and it will go ahead with the annual appraisal process. Hopefully, this will set an example for other companies in India Inc. as well.
True, exactly, Chandra. Hope this sets an example for other companies in India Inc. as well. But let's move on and let's talk about Ultratech. They said reported a strong set of Q4 earnings. That particular story is there on your page 7 of the Economic Times in the ET Markets page. Right here you go. Ultratech is reported a jump of 6% in their Q4 PAT, a rise of 6% in their Q4 PAT. Definitely a strong set of numbers coming in. And in this tough environment for Ultratech, let me just quickly take you through the number. The reported PAT is coming at around 2,906 crores, taking into consideration that they had a deferred tax credit of 1,708 crores in this particular quarter. The EBITDA margin came in at around 21.8% versus 20.5%. Their revenue was down about 12.9%, came in at around 10,237 crore rupees. So all in all, if you look at it, it's a good set of numbers coming in from Ultratech in such troubled times. But let me move on. Let me talk about the top story that's there here on your ET Markets page, and that is about Reliance Industries' rights entitlement price that surged about 40% on strong investor demand. The investors with long-term view on Reliance stock would now have to pay only 526.25 rupees per share to subscribe the rights issue shares. So this is what the story is about. The shares of Reliance Industries' rights entitlement climbed 40% on debut to widen the spread between market price and the rights issue of each Reliance Industries shares, telling potential long-term investors that they should buy into India's most valuable company, especially because of the lower cash outgo immediately. So this is the top story that is coming in your ET Markets page, that is on the Reliance Industries rights entitlement price. But let me shift focus now and let's talk about Cyclone Amphan that has actually hit Odisha as well as Bengal, and 3 people were killed in Bengal when extremely severe cyclonic storm Amphan made landfall between Digha in the state and Hatia Islands in Bangladesh. You unleashing heavy rains, high velocity winds that left a trail of destruction. Intense rainfall was also recorded in several areas of Khurda and Jagatsinghpur, Cuttack, Kendrapara, Jajpur, and you have Badrak as well as Balasore districts of Odisha, and that is the top story on Times of India. Here you go, and I actually stand corrected. Totally, you have 12 of them who are killed as the cyclone Amphan has made a landfall, and what actually it means, severe cyclonic storm Amphan is a Thai name that means sky, barreled in from Bay of Bengal and made the landfall at around 2:30 p.m. in West Bengal. At least 12 people were killed in Bengal. No lives have been lost in Odisha. Till report last came in, they're saying evacuation helped the limit of casualties. Bengal moved over 5 lakh people. Meanwhile, Odisha 1.6 lakh people to safer places over the last 3 days. So that is the top story on the national front, apart from coronavirus, that we are tracking very closely for you. But let me shift focus now and let's talk about coronavirus and the top 5 coronavirus headlines from the Times of India for you. And your global cases have already crossed 4.5 million, inching closer to that 5 million mark. The death toll on the global front is at around 3.24 lakh. That is the global count coming in for you for coronavirus. The death toll is at around 3.24 lakh. Moving on, you have Maharashtra that's added 2,250 cases and 65 deaths in a single day. BMC will take over 1 private hospital in every ward. You have 1,100 inmates walk out of Arthur Road jail on COVID break. Remember, you have jail authorities across different countries also give you inmates a break from coronavirus in order to contain the spread in the jails as well. And you have Wuhan that has banned the consumption of wildlife meat. So those are the top 5 headlines coming in from Times of India on coronavirus.